Do you think that you can be racist towards white people?
I think you can, not institutionally, no. But I think socially, of course, anyone can be racist to anyone if it's being derogatory towards a certain skin color. But I think the important aspects of racism, such as institutionalized racism, I do not believe white people experience that, no.
So if people are deprioritized in job selection or college applications,
white women benefit the most from a lot of those
what about white
selections. I don't know the statistics of it. You asked my opinion. My answer is
affirmative action.
Affirmative
DEI.
action most benefits white people, actually, and de-benefits the most Asian boys.
Hold on. Affirmative action benefits white people the most?
White women specifically, yes. There was a huge Harvard trial on it, actually.
No, hold on. Are you talking about like when it came to for Asian Americans?
Collegiate affirmative action? Is that?
Well, specifically, I think with Harvard, it was the case that Asian Americans had to score way higher than white people, black people, Latina people,
unfair.
Native Americans. It had to do with Asian Americans.
Yeah, which was unfair, but white women were benefiting the most from collegiate affirmative action, yes. You can look up the statistics right now.
How?
Just they were receiving the most admissions due to affirmative. I mean, you can just Google it right now.
But so just to be clear, your point is, wait, Nick, okay, you got it. So can you be racist towards white people?
Institutionally, no.
Not institutionally.
I think,
there couldn't be a policy that would ever be racist towards white people. Is that what you're saying?
That's hypothetical. I'm saying in our American institution, no.
And what would those institutions be?
The fact that we weren't enslaved people, the fact that we have had countless instances of demolishing black wealth.
In fact, white people were enslaved at various points in history.
Actually, majority of them were indentured servitude, which is still wrong.
No, that's not true. You had so listen, do you know what the order of marque and reprisal was? This was in order to stop white people from literally being kidnapped, put on ships, and then they were taken away by the Arab slave traders. Thomas Jefferson put an end to that. We don't know how many tens of thousands of white people were enslaved during that time, nor in the previous century. We have no idea. It is true in recent history, you can point to blacks being enslaved in the United States, but there's not currently a single black person alive today that I'm aware of that experienced slavery.
Okay, so you asked, but my question is, you asked my opinion, I say no, and then you go to rebuttal. It's okay to have a different opinion from me.
Well, it's not just,
and it's also okay for me to rebut your opinion.
Yeah, sure, but my opinion stays strong. I don't think we experienced the aftermath.
So you're not going to change your opinion no matter what is offered to you?
Towards everyone, every different racial group in front of me except for white people. In my personal experience...
Wait, but you just said that you can't be racist towards white people.
That's what I'm saying I have witnessed...
Well, by your definition...
Every minority group...
You're bending the definition to preclude you from even being able to see racism against white people.
Why?
You just defined it the way you defined it.
Why against white people? I'm saying in general, racism I have witnessed in my life.
Was her calling me a white boy racist?
I mean, not in the sense that I find racism to be.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I were to hold on, wait. If I were
1 second.
Okay.
All right. Is race a social construction?
Yes. There's no biological...
Race is it's just a social construct, right?
Yes.
It does not exist as a physical reality, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's going to set the framing for what Brian's about to say. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so she called me a white boy. If I had called her, like if I dismissed her opinion or her disagreement or her thought by saying that she's a black woman, black girl, would that be racist?
Yes, because of the social implication.
But is it not a fact?
I mean, if you say it as a statement and an objective truth, oh, you're a black woman, perhaps not. But if you're saying it in a derogatory sense...
Was she saying it?
So how is it not derogatory towards him?
I agree it's maybe derogatory, but I think it's a variation of generational humor and coping with such topics. I don't think she said it. I think intent is everything.
The intent was pretty clear.
Was there, for sure.
Well, I don't even understand, though. If race is just a social construction, which is exactly what you just said it was, then anybody who brings up race in a negative light for the purpose of demonstrating that it's not a social construction, how are they not introducing some sort of prejudicial bias or racism?
I don't understand the question. That didn't make any sense.
Yes, it does make sense. It's a social construction, correct? So if nobody talked about the social construction anymore, wouldn't it go away?
No, because it's a social construction doesn't mean it's not a social reality. Like, it is a construction.
No, wait.
Can you let me finish?
Social reality is only a product of the mind. So if nobody ever talked about what is a social reality, the social reality goes away.
It's not a product of the mind. That's not what a construct is.
Oh, no, a social construct definitionally is a product of the mind.
No, it is not.
Really? Can you point to a physical social construction?
Money. Money is a social...
No. You're pointing to paper as the physical reality. Money is the social construction, which the paper is. Money itself is just paper. Is that true or false?
It is just... That's the thing. Money is a physical... Money is a social construct.
Does not exist except as a product of what?
So if we ignore money, it'll...
Answer the question.
No, don't run from the question. It only exists as a product of what? The mind, right? Money only exists as a product of the mind.
I just disagree with that. I disagree with that.
It doesn't. So if everybody decided tomorrow that the $20 bill inside of your wallet was worth zero, what would it be worth?
It would be worth zero, but that's
It would be worth zero because it's a product of the mind. Its value is a product of the mind. It's socially constructed.
That's a pointless
hypothetical. It does not exist in
what
material
if we all
reality.
decided that houses were useless and we went back and lived in caves?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a
Houses are not social constructions. They're material reality. You can see them, touch them, taste them, walk into them. Those are real things.
You could look at
not
all
socially constructed.
My point that you did not let me finish was that race is a social construction, but it does not mean it's not a social reality, and people feel and experience material reality effects of such a social construction. So just
That's right. They do.
If everyone,
I agree. But I've already agreed with this. I agree that if you have a social construction and everybody lives as though the social construction is true, you do have to experience the effects socially of the social construction. So for instance, we could socially construct that your hair was red right now. And everybody could believe it, even though it was not an objective reality. They would still treat you like you were a redhead, right?
Yes.
Okay, but that would be false. You would not be a redhead, but they would still treat you as though you were. But assuming everybody dismissed this social construction of anybody having red hair, how would it exist in material reality?
It would be blonde.
I mean, that doesn't matter because...
No, it matters.
It doesn't matter to this question at all because...
It does matter. It matters big time.
No, because what we're asking is if the roles were reversed, would that be as bad?
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. Wow. Just. Wow. Nothing Dollar Tree Blondie has said has been accurate at all. Please stop talking and listen to the man speaking, and you will learn something, as God intended.
Okay, anyways.
Thank you, Grid 1.
So we're asking, if the roles were reversed, would it be as bad? That is dealing with reality. That's dealing with the real world. We're not dealing with, like,
No, it's actually,
mental...
Well, hang on. I'll rebut this.
Okay.
So it's not, though. What it's dealing with is a non-reality because you believe that race is a social construction,
that affects
right?
material reality, yes.
It's not a material reality. So therefore, if nobody ever talked about race again, how could it be a material reality?
It is. I mean, if no one ever talked about it again, it wouldn't be, sure, but...
So then by her talking about it, by this woman talking about it and bringing race up and pointing out Brian's race, she's talking about it, right? Bringing it into material reality from your worldview. And she's pointing it out for what reason?
She's not the one doing it. That's the thing. We are all... You can't divorce everyone from the context of material reality. No one is doing anything or saying anything in a vacuum.
I'm not divorcing anybody from the concept.
You are. You're divorcing her from the context of her lived reality.
I'm saying to you that from your perspective, it is not a material reality.
No,
so
I've already stated my perspective is that it is a material reality. It is based on a social construct.
Oh, so it's not a social construction then?
No,
it's a physical reality.
I have stated what I think about that multiple times, and you are misinterpreting it. Race is a social construction that has created the material reality that we live in. That's
I agree with all. I think
And
I
yet
heard
you
you
keep
just
sa-
fine.
you keep
I'll steelman it back
misinterpreting
to
that.
make sure that I have it correct. You ready?
Okay.
I'll steelman it back. You just say if I got it right or not.
Okay.
Social constructions, if you act as though they are real, can have real effects in material
not
reality.
not just if you act as if they are real. They are real. You can't, in the blink of an eye, make them not real.
Okay, no, I
You
didn't
can-
say
in
a blink
your,
of an
like,
eye.
hypothetical
That's not what I
world-
said. One more time.
Okay.
Let me steelman the position. Social constructions are not real. They're products of the mind. Yes or no?
They're not just products of the mind. No.
They're not. Okay, so then can you point one out to me?
Can I point out a social construct?
Yes, in a material reality, that's not a product of the mind.
The way that race affects people materially, like hate crimes.
No.
I mean, that's a material
but
reality.
race itself, is race itself a social construction?
Yes, I've stated that
Okay,
multiple times.
so then it's not anything other than a product of the mind. Yes or no?
No. I mean, I've already said what I've
No?
said. If you don't understand the connection that I'm making there, that's on you.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
understand. So let's try. Well, I'm just going to try one more time. I want to make sure I got this right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that social constructions exist in material reality, or they're only products of the mind?
They exist in material reality.
They exist in material reality. Okay. Can you point to one that exists in actual material reality then?
Race.
Okay, so then race is not a social construction then.
You just
Why
don't.
don't you get this?
I feel like we're wasting time because you just don't
No,
understand
no,
what
it's
I'm
not.
saying.
We're not. You don't understand, right? If
Sure, we don't
something's
understand
a
each
product of
other.
the mind, if it's only a product of the mind, and you say race is a social construction, therefore it's a product of the mind, then that means it can't exist in material reality. It doesn't exist absent the mind.
That's just not true, though.
not true.
Products of the mind can have an effect on material reality.
I didn't say products of the mind can't affect material reality.
You mean
I said they
exist, like-
don't
you mean, like,
actually exist
tangibly
in
exist.
material reality.
Sure, race is not tangible. No.
Yeah, so it doesn't exist except in the mind, right?
No. Something can be tangible and exist, or intangible and exist. Music
Where- so
exists. Music is not tangible, but no one's denying that it exists.
Music's not a social construction. There's sound. There's
Well,
things
no,
we can
I'm
measure.
saying- I'm
it's
saying-
not just a product of the mind. What are
I'm
you
saying
talking
that
about?
music is an example of something that is intangible and yet still exists in our reality.
It's not intangible. What makes it intangible?
You can't. It's not physical. You can't. I mean, there are.
It is physical. What are you talking
Well,
about?
it's a vibration, but in the colloquial sense
Well,
of the
so
word
there is a
intangible.
physical sense that we can measure in material reality. Is
Okay,
that
I'll give
the
you.
same
I'll
thing
give
with
you
race?
that. Music was a bad
Hang on.
example.
Is that the same thing with race?
I would have to think about that. No, I would.
You'd have to think about that.
My
of
immediate
course.
response is, well, yeah, this is a complicated question. I think.
It's not a complicated question.
It is.
It
This is
either
a really
exists as
complicated
material reality or it
discussion.
does not, and it's a social construction. It can't be both.
I disagree.
Oh, you disagree. What is the definition of a social construct?
Something that is socially agreed upon and constructed via reality. I mean, think like the census.
Okay, so is it social construction itself then?
No.
The reality? No. So then is race a social construction?
Yes. I did not hear the first part of your question.
Okay, then it doesn't exist in material reality. So I don't know why you keep disagreeing with me here.
I mean, because you don't understand what I'm saying.
Go ahead, tell it to me again.
I don't want to just keep repeating myself and having
All
you
right, I'm gonna
willfully.
move on.
Yeah,
All
thank
right. I'm
gonna
you.
move on.